for many years I've been teaching media, film. I've really enjoyed doing that. And to be able to teach that in the sports context as well was just like another great opportunity. And what do we mean by media these days? It could mean anything. It could be, advertising, marketing, radio. Who are interested in a career within media, it's not an individual, you're not working on an individual basis. You're very much collaborating with other people.
Hello and welcome to UCFB. This is The Hot Seat. I'm here with course leader of football business and media, Andreas Charalambous. How are you doing?
Not too bad, thank you.
First of all, I want to talk about when did you get into your specific area of expertise?
Right, so it's a bit of a roundabout way, to be honest. I've always been, studying media as a student through college, university. At one point, I decided to get into teaching, so media was a natural subject for me. I still enjoyed it after all those years. Bizarrely enough, my first specialism was sort of television and film. But obviously, I've got a big love of sport, which is obviously why I'm here.
Yeah.
So the opportunity presented itself to come to UCFB. It's almost like I've for many years I've been teaching media, film. I've really enjoyed doing that, and to be able to teach that in the sports context as well was just like another great opportunity. And here I am.
Yeah. No, when was the moment that you realised this is what you wanted to do for your career?
I wouldn't say there was a specific moment. It's one of those things where, growing up, as I said, I had this fascination with all things media. As I said, a variety of because what do we mean by media these days? It could mean anything. It could be, advertising, marketing, radio. But yeah, I've always had this fascination. I suppose, growing up in the 80s or being a teenager in the 1990s as well, you grow up with all this technology that's developing around you, all these other exciting opportunities. And yeah, as I said, I suppose I was in the right place in terms of technological progression where, media had this expanding landscape of opportunities, and it was just fascinating to me. And as I said, it's been something that I've been studying, teaching for decades now.
Of course, I've already said that you are a course leader here at UCFB. Tell us about the course that you do teach and lead and the importance of the study.
Right. Okay. So football, business and media. Obviously, it's one of 3 media degrees that we teach here. What I normally, when I speak to prospective students, and you try and give them as much information to make I suppose, a more informed decision what course is right for them. I suppose with the multimedia sports journalism and the sports business and sports broadcasting degrees, they're very much focused for specific career pathways, obviously to become either a sports journalist or a sports broadcaster.
Yeah.
So what football business and media does, it sort of sits in between where it's not quite focusing on one particular career pathway. So we look at a variety of the media landscape. As I said, the media, can mean a variety of things. We have like a more varied approach. We cast a wider net. We look at how sports journalism works, broadcasting, public relations, marketing, etc. So I suppose, coming back to the point I made earlier about my fascination with all the various possibilities with the media. Again, I think the football business and media degree reflects that, because you can go in any direction which interests you within the media industries that are out there.
Yeah, no, I think that's a massive positive as well, that you can take all these different avenues, taking different courses. For example, for me, I'm doing multimedia sports journalism, and you can take that and do just a big massive range of different sports and different jobs that you can of course take. I do want to talk about the best experience that your industry has gone ahead and given you outside of UCFB.
Oh, my industry's given me. I mean, as I said, my initial background, when I started sort of seriously getting into the media, was very much television, film related. I've been involved with a few projects. It won't be anything that you probably would have heard of. I'm sure it's buried away on YouTube somewhere. But yeah, to be honest with you, this is the other thing that I want to make clear to everyone who are interested in a career within media. It's not an individual. You're not working on an individual basis. You're very much collaborating with other people. And as I said, the opportunities I've had collaborating with other people, working on certain productions. You've got your pre-production, post-production. People think that it's just picking up a camera and going out filming, and they don't realize that there's a lot that needs to be done before you actually
Yeah.
get to that stage. And likewise, a lot of work to be done once you've finished your filming, you finished your recording. So as I said, through the various opportunities just to experience how it all works. And again, one of the reasons why I'm here and a lot of my colleagues are here is because we like giving the students who, they want to go out there, forge your own careers. This is what it's like. You're not going to be out there working on your own. You've got to learn to collaborate with people. You've got to, you'll be working with people you don't like. Really.
Yeah, exactly. But that's life, isn't it? At the end of
That's
the, at the end
life.
of the day.
Exactly. Yeah. And, it's very important. And this is actually something that I want to sort of put out there for people that are interested in following this pathway. There's a lot that you can do now before you've even come to UCFB. If you're interested in working within, writing about football, match reporting, for example, that's something you can do now. Go watch your local football club, start a blog. The media technology now, it's virtually free.
Hmm.
It doesn't cost you anything to do. Most of the technology you need, you carry around in your pocket every day anyway, in your smartphones. You can go out there and create your own opportunities. Start a blog, start a YouTube channel, and then yeah, get all that experience. And as I said, figure out for yourself that it's not a sort of solo job
Yeah.
pathway. Um, yeah. So
Yeah. So we've, of course, spoken about your best experience in the industry. I want to know who your sporting hero is and why, because I feel like most people, if they do come into the sporting world or into the media world, they do have someone that when they were younger, they did sort of look up to. So who's yours?
well, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to mention the club I support. I've actually met my hero, as it were.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I support Arsenal.
Right.
I'm actually a season ticket holder. I've been
Oh, are you?
for
Okay.
a long while, actually. Yeah, and you look at the sports industry is what it is now. I think a big part of that was some of the changes put into place by Arsene Wenger, who was obviously a manager of the club for 22 odd years.
Yeah.
Um, And again, not just because it's, he managed the club I support. I think, you see some of the more successful managers that are around today. And a lot of it is down to some of the changes that were put into place around the time, mid-90s, mid to late 90s. I remember football before the Premier League, completely different beast now, obviously. And that's reflected within other sports industries
Yeah.
as well, not just football. So if I had to say my sporting hero, it would be him.
Yeah. I don't think that's a bad pick in all honesty. No, he's an unbelievable manager, what he achieved with Arsenal. What are your interests outside of sport?
Right. So as I alluded to earlier, film. I'm a very big film buff. More specifically, horror film. Actually,
Oh, okay.
yeah, very big horror film buff.
Yeah. Favorite horror film? If you had to pick one?
I've got two.
You got two.
Yeah.
What are the two?
So it's the original Halloween,
Right.
the
Yeah.
original Dawn of the Dead.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So two classics in my eyes.
Yes. Yeah. I wouldn't say they're bad picks at all. No. Rate both of those movies highly. If you had one piece of advice for someone wanting to come into the sporting industry, what would it be?
Well, I think it comes back to what I said a few minutes ago. Don't wait to find an opportunity when you get here. There's nothing stopping you from going out there and carving your own opportunities now.
Yeah.
Go out there, get in contact with your local. And again, we've spoken about football. It doesn't necessarily have to be football. It can
No.
be any other sport you're interested in. Get in touch, see if there's any way you can gain some experience, especially those that are operating at lower levels. I know that the spotlight and all the glitz and glamour is at the top level, elite levels of the sport, but there's teams and at the lower end that would actually appreciate some help, and as I said, I think it's a good opportunity for you to get some of that experience before you've even arrived here, and as I said, it doesn't really cost you anything.
Yeah. And just bringing it back again, top 3 tips to be involved in football business and media like yourself.
All right, top 3 tips. What, as in studying the course?
If you want to study in the course, or just, even before getting onto the course, what could you do potentially to prepare yourself for the course?
Right. Again, first one is go out there, get in touch with your local clubs, see if there's any opportunities for you to learn. Obviously, you've got to be. Another obvious tip, I suppose, is you've got to be passionate about the subject.
Yeah.
It's going to be pretty tough to be learning about how the sports industry works when you don't really have an interest.
Yeah, especially like over a few years as well. It's not like
Absolutely.
you're doing it for a month or two. If you're doing it for 3 years, you've got to be interested in it. If you're not, you're going to struggle, I think.
Absolutely. And again, no matter what aspect of the sports media industry you want to work in, you need to know your information. You need to be up to date with how clubs operate, what regulations to follow, who's signed for who and when, etc. You need to be up to date with the information surrounding the industry as well. So again, it's showing that enthusiasm, that desire to, I suppose, off your own back, go out there and search for the information you need.
Yeah. Well, that's all we've got time for, Andreas. Thank you so much. If you do want to ask any questions about the course that Andreas runs or any of the other courses at UCFB, go ahead and message our social media pages, or go ahead and look at the website where you'll find all the information.
The University Campus of Football Business offers an inspiring learning experience with unique university degrees focused on your chosen career in the football and sports industry. Come to UCFB and study an undergraduate or postgraduate degree in media and journalism, coaching and analysis, sports business and finance, plus much more at iconic sporting locations such as Wembley Stadium and Manchester. To kick off your career in sport and find out more about our courses, visit ucfb.ac.uk.